Looking at the children, it's always fun. There are so many things that we can't do now, which you do. We would always feel happy to see you happy. So this champions batch, as was rightly told by the previous speakers, has been a very unfortunate one for being unable to spend a lot of its time at school. Opportunities were very, very scarce, limited, very less. And all through your course, we could see clearly that due to the pandemic, life was fearful, totally under harassment, uncertain. We were forced to isolate ourselves and we led a very unromantic life. So technology helped, but not to a great extent. Because anyway you can't meet, it's a big pain. I'm talking to a group of youngsters who should actually been quite fortunate in making it to sit here, to take part in this program, to share their feelings. Though everybody has not come to the stage and spoken, the few token speeches that were made were symbolic, quite expressive of what is happening in the minds of all the youngsters here. Very strong bonding of being members of one family called the Sunbeam family. So today, as we depart on the journey, I hope and pray that every one of you live for at least another 80 years. One thing I can tell about our generation, because there's nobody else from that generation, on behalf of the correspondent and myself probably I can say that we belong to a generation which is totally wonderstruck, thunderstruck. We don't understand anything at all, because when we were kids, even the radio was not there. There used to be radios only in a few houses in a big village. Transistors came very late. We belong to the generation where we used to hang the transistors, the Murphy transistors, on the bicycles when we travel. And you know, only once or twice a day you can hear some cine songs. Neyer Virupam in the night after 10 o'clock. That's all. All the rest of the time it will be Vayalum Valvum. Nandu Pudigiradu, Eli Pudigiradu. So we are from that funny generation. There are so many things that you have now which we had never come across. We never got an opportunity to, no such cars. There was only one brand of car called Ambassador car until we got married. Next there was one small car called Fiat car. That's all. Maruti car came in 82 in Delhi. One small Maruti. And look at the revolution that has taken place now. I want to tell you one more important thing. Such a huge revolution now. Everybody gets wonderful food. Biryanis are so common. Once a year, biryani was eaten when we were young. Only once during the festival. For you now, the distant dreams are totally different. You are champions, very big people. You got the chance to listen to intellectually elevated people, teachers. You got a chance to mingle in a society which is totally upfront, upgraded. And you got the gadgets in the hand which has conquered the world, put it all into something called YouTube, and touch of a button, as somebody told, the whole world opens wide for you to see, enjoy, learn, master, and become anything and everything you want. You are from a generation where anything and everything is possible. Right now, today, if anybody is sitting here, if you take a decision that you want to become somebody of this sort, of this kind, of this caliber, of this ability, of this capacity, you can. Because YouTube is there to teach you. Everything under the sun. We never got a chance like that. We never got people so strong in physics to teach us anything. We spent years and years on pendulum alone. But now you are on a different plane. The problems that you deal with are totally unheard of. You can reach for the stars. When we were young, we were told and taught that sky is the limit. Now for you, The days have come when sky is not the limit. You are from a different generation. You are on a different level. Where a level. Be it anything. Be it playfulness. Be it love. Friendship. Affection. Relationship. Whatever you say. Be it learning. Research. Now, touch of a button. Wow. Touch, you get million results. You can choose whatever you want. Every one of you can become PhDs and doctorates. There is a great revolution taking place in the field of education. Universities are going to open wide up. They will invite you with a red carpet. I can proudly propose that every one of the children who go out of Sunbeam would be research material. You have the knowledge. You have the capacity to listen to people. You have the capacity to take notes. Whatever you do, you will do systematically. You can do things meticulously. You've gone through a very interesting phase of learning, which is very, very rare. I want you to be confident and believe that every one of you carry a very, very special boon, blessing. I want you to understand and completely believe that you, when you get into the society from this Sunbeam family and get mingled with university, colleges, when you go abroad, when you get into departments of eminence, when you go and mingle with scholars of the world, you would begin to realize the kind of stuff and material that has gone into the making of something called you. You are very special, which you won't realize now. We realize many things late in life. When I was with my father, when I was in my teenage, I used to loathe my father. When I was in 20s and 30s, I used to hate my father because my father was a disciplinarian. He wanted things to be in order. I always wanted things to be in disorder. He wanted things to be done systematically. I always wanted to do things in a chaotic manner. But when I crossed 30, when I got into 40, when I got my children, and when I got the children growing, I began to realize the value of my father. I began to understand what kind of a person my father had been, how much he forgave me. He never cursed me. He always used to nickname me as Raja Cholan. The same rhetoric is what I wish to tell my children sitting in front of me here. You might have committed mistakes. When I look at you, when I come to clearly and deeply understand what you are, a Sunbeamian, I can proudly now proclaim that you are going to be the masters of the world. Why I am saying this is, you may think, I want you never to feel guilty. I have committed a lot of mistakes in my young days. I never feel guilty about it now because I was able to transform my life. I was able to add meaning to my life. I was able to bring forth a purpose to my life. We are not villains. We are actually fighting for your cause. At every juncture, you can always bank upon one community, and that is the Sunbeam Teachers community. We have always been for you, particularly for the COVID children. Because you went through the bad, you went through the rough. So you are going through the worst now because exams are fast approaching. Don't worry, I'm not going to heap you with a lot of advices now. I'm only telling you that we would always be with you. I want you to remember the strength of relationship between a teacher and a student. Teaching is a wonderful job. Number one, it keeps you young and alive always. Even after 50 years, when you become 70, you would tend to be young. It is the most beautiful job in the world. I tell you that. You can become university professors, you can become vice chancellors, you can become authorities in charge of bigger education, you can become policy makers, you can become planning commission members, you can become IAS officers, you can become IPS officers, you can become politicians, you can maneuver, you can rule over, you can bring people under your control. You will rule the world. I am 100% confident that this champions batch that's departing from Sunbeam today is not going away from us. They're coming closer and closer into our hearts, and our love for you will soar higher and higher. Let there be a very strong bonding between you and Sunbeam forever and ever. And I tell you, last but not the least, I love you all very much.